Hey there, welcome to another episode of Cooking with Violet Vixen. Tonight I'm going to show you how to make damper for ploughman's lunch. It's not lunchtime, but this is a great lunch or a light meal if you've had a big lunch and a big day out. So here's what we need. I've added in 2 extra ingredients because I didn't see them when I was writing up my ingredient sheet, and I found them when I was reading through the recipe. So we also need our oven on 200 degrees. It says to use 1 baking tray and make 2 10-centimetre loaves, but I can't see how they're going to fit on one, so I'm going to probably use 2 trays, but we'll see how we go with that. So come on in and I'll show you what we got. All right, I've been preparing everything. So we have got 3 cups of self-raising flour plus an extra bit to dust. I still got some left. 60 grams of butter cubed. I've left that on there. 1 cup of dairy farmer's milk. I'm just using the light milk that I always use. And we also had to add 1 teaspoon of salt. I'll get a teaspoon out of that eventually. And 1/4 cup of water. This makes 2 loaves of damper, and we are serving it with cheese. I brought this one. I had to go up to the local this morning because problems with the car and work, so no car, but need food. So this one I got. I think I've had something like this before. This one's a good one. Chutney, they didn't have any. I thought I might have had more. I haven't got much left in that. That's just a fruit chutney. I needed mango chutney for something else. I didn't have it, so that's all I can have. Cold meats, generally whatever you like. They had a special on with the Primo 2 for $7. So I got mild Hungarian salami and roast beef. Probably not your best choices for a ploughman's lunch. I think they would probably be more ham and roast beef, but I thought salami's good too. And dill pickles, they didn't have dill pickled, so I got sweet spiced gherkins. So if you Google it, ploughman's lunch is pretty much basically just some bread, some cheese, meat, and chutney and some pickles. So ploughman obviously is a excuse me, someone that works in a farm, like ploughing or shearer or whatever, and they don't have fridges and things like that when they're out doing that, so they probably got it somewhere in a, not an esky, but something similar, and it's something that doesn't need to be refrigerated. That's those that aren't fortunate enough to, I guess, work somewhere where someone does cook for them, as you may hear about. So good on these people for getting out there and doing a job and having a good, healthy sort of a bit of a lunch. Yeah, so a little bit off topic there, I suppose, but we are making the damper to go with the lunch, or you can have it as your light dinner. So let's get into it. So we need a bowl, and we're going to sift the flour into it. Okay, so we've got our bowl and our sieve. 3 cups of self-raising flour. Whack it through. A good thing about this, sometimes I just find strange things when I'm cooking and they work, so I just go with it. This bowl and this fit as perfectly together as my little yellow saucepan and my little stainless steel bowl, which I use for melting chocolate. So as I say, if you find something that doubles up perfectly, don't lose it. All right, our 1 teaspoon of salt. This is pretty awkward because I can't really get it out like you'd get normal salt out. So I've got to shake it out. So basically, I'm just going to get enough into my hand, a little bit more. I think if I take the bottom off this, I'm just going to get salt everywhere, and I don't really feel like cleaning that up. So there we go. That's close enough. Okay, now comes the fun part. So that's 60 grams of butter that we cut up. Try and cut it up quite fine, because what we're doing is we're rubbing it in with our fingertips. Okay, so you basically just want to grab it and then just rub it through like that. Sort of make it look like it's snowing. This is one of the things that I don't like doing. Apparently you've got to try and use your fingertips, because otherwise if it gets to the warmer parts of your fingers, you can actually melt the butter, even though it's technically a winter's day. I don't know how that can happen, but if you can perfect the technique of making it snow like that, you can't go wrong. Now the good thing about this is it's only going to take 20 minutes to cook. So get this into the oven, and then you can start working out the rest of the stuff that's going with it. Here we go. It can be quite therapeutic once you sort of get going with it, but it's just the initial, and you really want that butter melted in for this one. Well, not melted in, mixed in, I should say. Alright. How you looking there? Alright, I think that's actually looking pretty good. So what we do is we make a well in the center. A well is literally that. You just push everything to the outside. Leave an indent in the middle. I'm going to wash my hands, and then I'll get into the next part. Which is basically just mixing the rest of it in. Now you could also use this for, if you want to use it for sandwiches, I guess you could use it for sandwiches as well. So it makes two, so it's really good. You can have sort of one today and one another day or whatever. So into the well in the center, we're going to put the milk and the 1/4 cup of water, and you want a knife to mix this. Now I recommend you get a butter knife. Butter knife is exactly that. It's only good for cutting butter, well, spreading butter in this case. Anything that's able to cut is not really a butter knife. So you just mix it in. That's it. It'll go really thick, obviously, because of the flour and the water and the milk. Here we go. Mix, mix, mix. Alright, we are going to turn it out onto a floured surface after, which I really hate doing, but I love damper. So I try and make it, I wouldn't say once a year, but let's just say damper is one of the easiest things to make, because technically there's only 3 ingredients in it. Water comes from your tap, and salt you've generally always got, so you really only need 3 ingredients to go with it. So if that's not a big enough reason to make it, then I don't know what is. Alright, so it'll look something like a lump of that. Now we want a floured surface, but not a lot. Might be too much there, because we're going to put that on the floured surface. Okay, so spread that out a bit, and it's always a good idea to put some on your hands as well. Okay, alright, plonk it down. Yeah, and the rest that stayed behind. When you've got it a bit less sticky, you can probably get the rest out of that bowl. Alright, perfect, look at that. It's really easy once you get it to this part. That's so easy. There's almost nothing wrong with having damper as your daily bread, so to speak, you know. It's easy enough to make. I don't think I'm going to get the rest of that out of that bowl. It's not meant to be. No, it's not meant to be part of it. Sorry. Sorry, damper. Okay. I'm going to cut this in half. Which I can use my butter knife that only cuts butter. And we want to shape each one into a 10 centimetre round loaf. Now 10 centimetres, I think, is, I'm going to get my ruler out in a moment. Don't forget they rise because it's self-raising flour as well. Well, that's 13 centimetres. Maybe they are right with their 10 centimetres, hey? Oh my god, that's 10 centimetres there. I don't mind if it's a bit bigger. I think the idea of keeping it like that is so that it doesn't, I guess, spread too far. Okay, so that is our 2 loaves. Let's get the tray that we was going to use. I think I will go back to the original resort then. 1 tray. I'm going to get some baking paper. Pop that on the bottom. I think I went overboard with how much I needed there. Now we want to grease and flour the tray. I've gone way overboard with how much I want here. That should be fine though. We'll just put a bit of flour on it. Okay. Pop the 2 on top. 1 and 2. Alright, into the oven. 200 degrees. Oh, 180 fan force. I'm going to turn mine down to 180 because last time I had a nightmare. 20 minutes. I'll see you then. Okay, so I ended up giving them an extra 5 minutes, which was probably because I had dropped the temperature down. If you knock on them, they should sound hollow. And they also look done. So, there you have it. You've just been watching Cooking with Violet Vixen. This has been Damper for Ploughman's Lunch. I hope you enjoy your ploughman's lunch, and I'm going to catch you on the next episode. Bye!